joining us in round 2. We have Bob Upham. He is an advisor and mentor at Sturgia Center. Eduardo Lebrija, which is the Strategic Alliances Manager at Santander. Flavia Richardson, she is the Vice President of Early Stage at Silicon Valley Bank. Ricardo Taveras, the Venture Partner at 13 Ventures. Doug Singale, he is the Managing Partner at Blue Goose Capital. And Per Haystad, Partner at Rally Cry Ventures. Thank you so much for your time and the feedback you will give to the teams. Your participation is key to the global competition. They will be evaluating the following aspects of your pitch: idea, business model, level of innovation, pitch, and team. Just so you know, team has been preparing for the past 2 weeks for this online pitching event. They have been mentored by Sangeeta Verma, Christopher Dube, Pochi Wu, Cynthia Helen, and Ray Milham. They were the entrepreneurs in residence in our Entrepreneurial Simulator 2019 in London, Silicon Valley, Boston, New York. We are sure that teams are prepared for this round. We have also at the online pitching event, the TrepCamp team. Fernando Sepúlveda, founder and CEO of TrepCamp, Isabel Aranda, the coordinator of the Global Demo Day, Natalia Elisa Raraz, the engagement manager, Isabel Medrano, the logistics coordinator, and myself, Ana Luz Segura, the PR manager. Welcome, everyone. As a quick reminder, teams will have 3 minutes to pitch, and then we will have 5 minutes for the Q&A. Treps, remember that after each pitch, we are going to hear the feedback and questions from the panelists. So don't start sharing screen right away until I say that we are ready for you. Panelists, your interventions for feedback and Q&A will be just as we assigned in the scheduled format that we previously sent you. We encourage you to open your camera so that the team can see while you give feedback. You will also have 1 minute after the Q&A to fill the online form. And meanwhile, I will present the next team. The session is divided in 2 pitching groups. We will have a 10-minute break between both groups. Last but not least, we will announce the winners on Monday, September 30 at 12 p.m. US Central Time through mail and also through our social media, Instagram and Facebook. Teams, please make sure your microphone and camera are turned off during other presentations and the Q&A. Let's start the pitches. For the first team, we will have the first team to pitch. We will have Estebana Hinojosa from Ticor. The challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was imagine the next generation of health industry. Ticor is a device with the sole purpose of saving lives from heart attacks by making early safe diagnosis accessible for people with high risk of having a myocardial infarction. The team was part of TrepCamp at New York. Ticor, we are ready for you whenever you are. And Cleanfield, get prepared, you're next.
Hi, just checking the sound. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I assume everyone can.
Okay, good. Okay, let's start. This is Victor. He had a heart attack 5 months ago, which resulted in various strokes, and now he's not able to see, talk, or move properly. And I think it's worth mentioning that he is my dad. He felt chest pains for 2 months before his attack, but didn't know what it was. His friends, family, himself that it might be related to this.
So I'm sorry to interrupt. I can't seem to hear any. Like I hear what they're saying, but I don't understand. It's a little blurry, and I don't see the screen. Now I see the screen.
Now we can see you, Estevana. If you would like just to start all over, please, and make sure that that you have a good connection to make sure that we can hear you well.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Try to use a different microphone because we can hardly hear you. So.
This is live, folks. Things happen.
Yes. Exactly. And I'm very glad that I'm not a presenter for that reason.
Is that okay? Can you hear me better?
I think we may be able to hear you well enough.
Yeah, that's good.
You can go ahead, Estevana, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Let me just put the presentation. Yes, can you see the presentation? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead now and start.
Yeah, we can hear you well, Estevana. Yeah, maybe you can, by using headphones or something like that, you could be able to have a better connection.
Estevana, this is Sangeeta. So the setup that you guys used yesterday with me sounded great. Can you do that again? What's different today?
There's nothing different. That's why we're wondering what's not.
Well, I'm not able to see you, for example. Before I could see you with T-Core in the background. Now I only see the T-Core background. So that's different. I don't know if that's making a difference to your audio, but it's really, really hard to hear you and to understand you. It's very kind of muffled sounding.
I think that she's further from the microphone than she may have been the day before. That's what it sounds like to me.
It could also be that her connection on Zoom is not what she is using.
Okay.
Yeah, are you using a different mic for the Zoom connection than you did last night?
Yeah, we're in the same place, same thing, everything's the same.
Okay.
What does the mic say on the Zoom connection down at the very bottom left? There is a microphone icon, and next to that is an arrow. What does when it says use a microphone, what does it say?
If you want, Estevana, we can give you a couple of minutes just to make sure that you have all your microphone and your audio correct. We can go to clean field, which I see that Miguel is ready.
Okay, can you just tell me if you can hear me now?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, is that better?
That's
Good.
better.
That's better.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Okay, so there was something wrong with the setting for the mic, but now
Okay,
it's
there you
fine.
go.
Whenever you're ready, Estevana.
Okay, so we can go. Sorry about all of this, but it's gonna be fine.
Oh, now we're, this is good.
I'm sorry, we cannot go back now. Okay, I'm gonna start. This is Victor. He had a heart attack 5 months ago, which resulted in various strokes, and now he's not able to see, talk, or move properly. And I think it's worth mentioning that he's my dad. He felt chest pains for 2 months before his attack, but didn't know what it was. His family, his friends, and even himself thought it might be related to his heart. But there was no way to know for sure. And going to the hospital is expensive and time-consuming, so he ignored the warning signs. We tend to think of heart attacks as if they would always kill you instantly. But most of the times, the damage occurs slowly, and it starts deteriorating until your heart stops beating. It can take days, weeks, or even months. The longer the person goes without treatment, the greater the damage. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the world, above cancer and diabetes. In the US alone, there are over 600,000 heart attack deaths every year. Patients with chronic cardiac disease have to or visit their doctors every time they feel any symptoms that may or may not be caused by a heart attack. Patients, doctors, hospitals, and insurance companies lose money every time there's a false alarm. Here is where TCOR comes in. We're revolutionizing the cardiac arrest diagnosis market in the same way that in-home pregnancy tests and blood sugar tests led to better care for pregnant women and diabetic respectively. TCOR is the new in-home patch that identifies the presence of troponin in your blood. The user applies it to their arm. The patch microneedles draw a small amount of blood to the plasma layer that mixes the blood with antibodies to determine the presence of troponin. If troponin is present, the patch will change color. This is a sign the user should go to the hospital for further treatment. Just like the in-home pregnancy tests or blood sugar monitoring tests, TCOR will be sold directly to consumers at the pharmacy. The protocol for detection of troponin to determine a heart attack is already FDA approved. Our patch will need to go through testing and regulatory approval. We're now working on the prototype development and the requirements for patent acquisition. We are a group of young, motivated entrepreneurs that want to save lives. In addition to our passionate team, we also have an expert board of advisors and partners who believe and have the same purpose. So what are you waiting for? Act faster, live longer.
Thank you so much for your pitch, TCOR. Now, let's continue with the Q&A. The first intervention will be from Bob Upham.
Hi. First of all, I love seeing how somebody has a personal experience and acting on it and can be, show their passion. It's fantastic, and I hope your dad's doing okay. Where do you plan to manufacture the device?
So I'm going to repeat the question. Are you asking where are we going to manufacture the device?
Yes. Where will you manufacture the device, and who's doing the design and that kind of just explain a little bit about the manufacturing process.
So we're working right now on getting partnership with manufacturers because, of course, we don't have the infrastructure to manufacture this kind of device, and it's expensive for us to invest in it. So what we're going to invest is in partnership with someone who can manufacture the device for us. We're estimating the cost of the patch as it is in $2. We had advice from different experts in the field, mostly from the chief medical officer from a really big pharmaceutical in San Francisco. And this is what we decided was best for the company.
Is it still on me? Do I have another question?
Sure.
And can you explain how the user interacts with the device? I didn't notice that in the presentation. So how does the device detect this, and then how does it inform the user?
Okay, sure. Okay, so the device works. It's a patch. It has microneedles, and these microneedles will draw a little bit of blood from your skin. You put it in your arm, and then you draw a little bit of blood. And then this blood, it has to, the patch has antibodies, and these antibodies will touch the plasma from the blood. And this blood and the antibodies will detect if there's presence of troponin in your blood. Troponin is the most sensitive signal for us right now to know if you're having heart damage. So troponin is a protein that is in your blood. So that's why we're drawing a little bit of blood. Then we're putting antibodies in it. We're checking that you have troponin or not in your blood. And if you do have troponin, that means you have heart damage. So you have to go to the doctor for further treatment because it's really probable that you're having a heart attack.
But is the patch worn at all times? How do you decide when to put the patch on?
Okay, so this product is is made mainly for people who have chronic cardiac disease and for people who have already suffered from any cardiac damage. So
Okay,
these
I see.
people know, and they know the signs from a heart attack because they've been diagnosed before, and doctors can help them also. So this patch is a one-time only, like you just put it whenever you're feeling the symptoms, yes, but it's for people who have chronic cardiac disease. So these people are constantly feeling the symptoms, and they cannot decide if it's a heart attack or if it's just the pain, which is called angina. So it kind of differentiates this both feelings, so they can know if they do have to go to the hospital, or they can just call the doctor and say like, hey, I'm having this it's hurting, my chest is hurting, but I know it's not a heart attack because I've got TCOR, and TCOR didn't change color, so I'm good. I just need to know what I have to take to diminish the pain or something like that.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Bob. Now we have the intervention from Flavia. Are you here in the session, Flavia?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Is there any other panelist like Duke or Ricardo that would like to ask any question?
Yeah, this is Doug. I'm interested in understanding how well accepted this marker is for the condition of a heart attack. Can you talk a little bit about the underlying science, how well accepted it is, and where it came from?
I'm just gonna check if I understood the question. You're asking me about the acceptance from people from science, like medical people?
Yes, I mean, you have a method of detecting something, and I'm asking you to talk a little bit more about the connection between what you're detecting and the condition that you want to diagnose.
Okay, yeah. So right now in the hospitals, mostly in the United States, they use this kind of test. It's a troponin test. It's not a patch. It's a test kind of like the diabetic, the glucose tests, that you just like pinch your finger and you get a little bit of blood, and then you can know how much glucose you have. It's kind of the same, but it's a troponin test. They use it mostly in hospitals in the United States. And this is working, actually. It's more precise than an AKG, an electrocardiogram. So right now in the US, they use it a lot. In many other places, they don't use it. And I mean, it's something additional for the hospital. The thing we're talking about here is it's making it accessible for people. Why? Because there's a lot of time between you feeling a pain and you going to the hospital. And then maybe you go to the hospital and, or maybe you don't want to go to the hospital because it costs you money. Or maybe you do go to the hospital and it costs you and it costs the hospital money and it costs the insurance companies money. So it's just a really easy and accessible way for you to know beforehand if you're really having a heart attack, so that you can be attended faster. And
so the innovation is really around the delivery system.
Yeah, the innovation is really in putting it in a patch, because it doesn't exist in a patch.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Time is over for your Q&A, so we have to move to the next presentation. Panelists,
Okay.
you have a minute to evaluate the team, and thank you so much, Tika, for joining us.
Thank you.
For the next team, we will have Cleanfield. Cleanfield produce sustainable, eco-friendly 3D printing filaments by transforming plastic waste in Mexico. The challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was Reduce the Garbage Island. The team was created in TrepCamp, New York. We're just gonna wait a few more seconds so that our panelists finish filling up the form. Now it's time for Miguel Agasperi from Greenfield to pitch. We are ready for you whenever you are. Vibe Electric, get prepared, you're next.
Hello everyone, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm going to start. Let me see if I can change the slides. Great. Okay. So we all have heard that by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean. But did you know that right now there are more microplastics in the ocean than stars in the Milky Way galaxy? But let's face a fact first. Plastic is a great material. It's durable, resistant, and it's the best insulating material. So why throwing away this great material? And why not being part of a circular economy? This means to incorporate the existing waste into the economy and to aim the continual use of resources. So how are we going to be part of this philosophy? We're going to turn plastic waste into eco-friendly 3D printing filaments in Mexico. Why is this viable? To start with, the market. The 3D printing industry has been growing and it's estimated to be over $20 billion by 2021. Our main public is going to be education and prototyping, getting the majority of applications according to Forbes. For our business model, we're going to get the recycled plastic pellets from suppliers. Then we're going to process it into 3D printing filaments. For this, we've got our first families and friend investment. Thanks to that, we have ordered the equipment we need to start working. And finally, we're going to sell it to our customers, which mainly would be universities and innovation labs. These are our partners, two of the best and biggest universities in Mexico, and the letters of intent they have signed. These are the businesses interested in getting samples of our filament in order to start working with us once we start producing them. This is our competition, and we are going to be the first eco-friendly brand to produce filaments in Mexico. In addition, we have developed our website in which the users will be able to upload and share their 3D models. Also, they can get news of the environment. For our next steps, we want to create an alternative for the spool, as we don't support single-use plastic products. Also, we want to reserve the intellectual property of the combination of plastics and chemicals. We need to get the desired properties of the filament and as well for the spool, which we want to be compostable. So this is who we are. Multidisciplinary team that has given a 110%, and we all believe that the solution for the plastic waste problem is to reincorporate it into the economy. We are Clinton, from the streets to your prints.
Thank you so much for your pitch, Clinfield. Let's continue to the Q&A. The first intervention will be from Eduardo Lebrija.
Thank you, Ana Luz. Great pitch, Miguel. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very interesting. I have a couple of questions.
Great.
So the first one is, tell me a little bit about your customer's pain. Okay, so who's your customer and what's their pain?
Great. I will share an experience. Back in New York, we did a lot of field work. We went to 3D printing businesses by ourselves and labs. And we went people, 3D printers user, asking if they would rather use a eco-friendly alternative for their filament. And they told us that as they will use most of the application for prototyping, they wouldn't care about the color or the properties itself of the filament, so they will totally use it. And that's the reason we justify that our main public will be prototyping and education.
So would you say that you are more of a vitamin kind of business that makes people feel a little bit better of what they're buying, but you're not taking a specific pain away?
In addition to that, there is a lot of failed prints in the 3D printing business. We are going to recycle this kind of failed prints from the business because there are so many businesses and also universities don't know how to recycle this kind of failed prints. So we are going to recycle it and transform into the new kind of a 3D printing filament and deliver it to the user according to the amount of the failed print they send it to us.
Yes,
okay.
And according to what you asked, yes, we are not giving the solution for a pain point itself, except for the fact that printing for prototyping makes waste. And we want to, as Darius said, my teammate, we want to recycle that as well.
Of course, thank you. Just one more question. You went very quickly through your competitors. Could you go back to that slide and tell me a little bit about what makes your solution unique?
Yeah, sure. So let me see. Oh, wait. I'm having a little problem here. Okay, I will just go with the scroll. Oof, this is not, okay, here's it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so our main competitors will be the eco-friendly metric, and these are the only ones we found. Sorry. Pretty Life, it's a great brand. It's the biggest, I would say, but they are not recycling at all. They are making biodegradable filaments, and that's great, but it's different. And about refill, they are recycling PET waste, which is it takes 3% of all the filament materials used in the market, and we're going to recycle ABS plastic, which is the 14%.
Okay.
So I have a quick question, if I may.
Great, go ahead.
Yes, of course.
Yep. So can you walk me through the step-by-step process of how you're going to execute a pilot project?
Great. So let me go to the business model side. Here is it. For getting the plastic, we are going to get it from suppliers. For this, we found a marketplace which sells only recycling materials. So we want to establish a connection or a partnership with a supplier. After that, we're going to process it. For the processing, we're going to use extruder machines. We're not inventing the wheel here, that already exists, but the separation process of it is the one in which we are doing a lot of work, since we need to get 100% only the plastic we want to recycle. And as I told you, the extruder machine, once we got the plastic, we only introduce it, and it will give us the filament.
Okay, so guys, I think I mentioned this last time we met, but dealing with the waste is something that many companies are already doing, and they're using a lot of technology to convert that waste into renewable things that they can further sell. So what's different here, right? What in terms of the execution of it, why would those folks get a relationship with you guys as opposed to just doing it themselves and getting the profits themselves, or doing it with other people that they already have pre-existing relationships? I'm trying to understand the context of your execution, right?
Excuse me, Ana Luz, do you want to follow the script, or are we just going to open things up?
No, yeah, I'm going to give...
We're not following the script at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, so to answer what Ricardo asked, we want to get a patent of the process because we need to get a chemical. We are working on research about doing a chemical process to separate it. And the reason that we will be different from like other stuff in the market about eco-friendly, it's the plastic we're going to recycle. ABS plastic is the one used for all the cases of your monitors, of your PC, of even the Legos material is ABS. So there's plenty of ABS all over the world spread, and we want to process it into the filaments. ABS, as I said, is the second most used material for 3D printing, and it takes 14% of the market.
Thank you, Miguel. Now we have just one more minute of Q&A, and I would like to have the intervention of Duke Singala.
Mm-hmm.
So, Duke.
So the impression I have, at least in here, is that the recycled market in general, and particularly for plastics, is under a great deal of pressure. And the result, because the demand is simply not adequate to provide good prices for the supply. And so the result is a lot of plastic that is separated is not actually processed, it's put into landfills, it's not treated differently. And so I'm wondering how, in this environment, do you intend to protect margins given the cost of collection, processing, and then distribution of your product?
That's a great question. For, as I said, we have two partners, which are universities, and they have supported us by giving us their plastic because they have this zero waste program. And to start with, we're going to use their plastic, and they are not selling it; they are giving us for free. So that's our main resource at first. They have like separating trash cans in which we will get the plastic. For the delivery, we will try to partner with online selling websites like Amazon, and that's how we get our business model from the start to the end.
Thank you so much, Miguel. Sorry to interrupt. We have to move on to the next team. And thank you so much, Miguel. Now it's time. You will have 1 minute to fill the form, panelists. Meanwhile, I will present the next team. The next team is Vibe Electric. The challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was improve energy efficiency. They help improve energy efficiency by developing a technology to convert vibration into electricity. The team was created at TrepCamp in Mexico City. We will have a couple more of seconds so that the panelists fill out, and then we're ready for you, Regina. Now it's time for Regina Sanchez to present Vibe Electric from TrepCamp Boston. We're ready for you when you are. All farms, you're next. Get ready.
Belle, you ready?
We can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, okay. We can.
Perfect. Well, for far too long, utilizing sensors in subway systems has been difficult. They are responsible for ensuring safe operations, regulating train speeds, temperature, and even ensuring people do not get caught between the wheels. However, these sensors are mostly powered by cables and batteries, which, besides expensive, have short lifespans and require a lot of maintenance. Because of that, some developing countries cannot provide a good service to their subway users, because considering implementing sensors would increase their fares too much. This is where we step into the picture. We want to optimize subway operations in Latin America by providing low-cost devices that can improve mobility. Subways are filled with vibrations, which are not being taken advantage of. At Vibe Electrics, we want to help our customers transform these ambient vibrations into electricity, providing them with a sustainable power source that can supply reliable energy for wireless sensors used in public transportation. Our small device can be safely installed anywhere without having to modify the surrounding infrastructure, and no cables nor batteries are needed, thereby reducing material, labor, and maintenance costs, as well as all the environmental hazards associated with batteries. We also offer our customers vibration analysis, installation guidance, and a wide variety of sensors designed for their specific needs. To do this, we're partnering up with sensor developers. As we mentioned, our starting point is Brazil. We want to conduct our first field test in Line 4 of São Paulo subway, which is owned by private equity. Based on average car length, speed range, and vibration frequency, we calculate that 100 harvesters could permanently power 280 sensors along the entire length of the line. Once we have a fully working operation in São Paulo, we can expand to other Brazilian cities and then other Latin American countries. Right now, two competitors that offer energy to power.
Porque ahorita si entran se me distrae.
Sorry? Well, both of them are based in Europe, and use a different technology that has higher costs. Not to mention that if their devices were imported to Latin America, high taxes on the product would raise the price even more. Therefore, we want to provide this market with optimal operation systems by producing our harvesters locally. We have a team composed of engineers, marketers, and designers with the right sets of skills to make this possible. For this, we would need $1.2 million to produce our first devices as a proof of concept. And since our device has an estimated selling price of $300 each, we expect a revenue of $5 million in the first 18 months. This is how we're solving the power supply problem of sensors in transportation systems. We are Vibe Electrics, and we want to power the future.
Thank you so much, Vibe Electrics, for your pitch. Now, let's move on to the Q&A. The first intervention will be from Ricardo Taveras.
Okay. So what's the stage of development, or at least the stage of testing with the product itself? Have you tested? Which sensor developers have you spoken to? What are the economics that they're telling you that this is going to cost to test, not to make it, to test? And yeah, so where are you in the development process? Where are you?
Well, right now we're working with 2 universities. They are allowing us to work in their labs in order to run some tests. So we're still at very early research and prototype development. However, we have been supported by the laboratories at Tecnológico de Monterrey, which is a very good university here in Mexico. We have also run some digital simulations to know how much energy we could produce, but this is still based on literature. We are still developing the device itself. And about the sensor developers, we haven't come into contact with them yet. We have already noted that there are 2 sensor companies that we would like to work with in Brazil later on in the future once we have a prototype that is ready to offer this kind of technology to sensor developing partners.
How long is it going to take for you to build it?
Well, we calculate that if we get some money in order to improve our research and get more equipment, we would be able to get a fully working prototype probably in about 6 months. 6 months probably would be enough.
Got it.
Thank you so much for your intervention, Ricardo. Now I will have Per Haystack.
A couple of questions. Are you replacing existing sensors or are you adding additional?
We would like to work with additional sensors because by utilizing additional sensors, we could make sure that they function completely well with our device, because the existing sensors that are running on batteries are not the kind of solution that we are looking at right now. We want to offer new sensors that go perfectly with our device.
How are you going to make a direct cost savings to the rail line?
Yes, because right now the rail lines that are using different types of sensors that run on batteries or cables, they have a lot of expenses due to all the maintenance, as well as other problems that occur with these types of sensors. They tend to fail a lot, and this causes sometimes the subways to have to completely stop their operations in order to fix this kind of thing, which makes them lose thousands of dollars just by every time they have to stop the trains. So by implementing this kind of technology, we can assure a continuous power supply to avoid this kind of situation.
You mentioned 2 companies in the EU that are building these and installing these in the EU. How well have you been able to model the success of that company in the EU?
They have been pretty successful. they use a different technology than we do. They use electromagnetic induction as well. And they're already running several pilots in large rail lines, not necessarily subways. Their devices are present in really long rail systems that go from one country to another.
How well have you been able to model their business success? Like, how much do you understand about their business and how they're organizing and running it?
Well, I think we understand it pretty well. I feel like they've been having a lot of success recently because they have been able to expand in a very short period of time, and they have direct sales with the subway not the subway companies, but the rail companies that they supply for, as well as other companies. They don't only supply to subways or rail lines, but as well as to other industrial settings, like industrial plants for different things.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. It's time to move on to the next team. Thank you, Per, and thank you so much, Regina.
Thank you.
Panelists, you have 1 minute to evaluate the team, and meanwhile, I'm gonna present the next team, which is All Farms. All Farms, they are from TrepCamp at Silicon Valley. The challenge they chose during the entrepreneurial simulators was imagine the next generation of agriculture. An application that reduces the price of supplies when more farmers join the same purchase on our platform, creating digital communities of small farmers. We're just gonna give a few more seconds for our panelists to fill out the form. Meanwhile, I would like to remember, please, Treps, make sure that you have your microphones muted if you're not pitching. Let's respect every other pitches, and let's make it easier without interruptions. Thank you so much.
Hi, sorry, can you let me, okay. Share the screen.
Just a few more seconds, Eric. I'll give you the cue.
Can you hear me well? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect.
Perfect. Now it's time for All Farms, and Eric Montañez will be pitching today. Hein, get prepared. You're next.
Hi, my name is Eric Montañez. I am the CEO and co-founder of All Farms. Did you know that on 2050 there will be 9 billion people on Earth? That's a lot of people to fit. At the time when we should be supporting solutions to help people grow more, surprisingly, there are 570 million small farmers in the world who are at risk of being driven out of their business because of the high cost of farm supplies. Let me tell you an example in only one market, Mexico. We are 6 million small farmers who produce the 60% of the Mexican food. Yet, we're at the bottom of the food chain because we are too small. And the big companies of farm supplies think that we represent only a very minimum sale alone. This is why we always get the high cost and the last supplies, because we have no bargaining power. To make matters worse, the 90% of the market is divided by only 4 companies who are focused on selling to the big farmers because they represent an easier sale. But we are serviced by macro distributors who add another layer of expense to the product sale. This represents to us more money and time. With All Farms, we're gonna give farmers 50% more profit margin and save them up to 384 hours a year of going around looking for the cheapest products. This is 2.2 months in time. And this is how we do it. We unite farmers to increase their purchasing power and their growing power so that they can grow more for this growing population. As you can see in the example, as more farmers buy, the price decreases. This feature encourages farmers to join in so that everyone can have the same benefit, get to the lowest possible price. But we don't only save them time and money, we actually generate a community where farmers can interact between each other, plus engineers that can ask and answer questions so that farmers can plan each season smartly. The business model goes like this. Small farmers make a delivery, an order to All Farms, and we make the purchase directly to the suppliers, avoiding all kind of middlemen. We get a 17 to 20% discount and a 2% commission per bulk sale. as the suppliers already have their logistics delivery channel on point, they deliver directly to the small farmers. Our competition go from the traditional cooperatives to other marketplaces. But with All Farms, you have technical support every day, low prices, and we create loyal communities by giving the farmers flexibility and independence to get only the products that they really need. We have a very passionate, diverse team with skills on finance, law, development, design, and moreover, we have a small farmer, me, that lives this reality every single day. And we're also advised by a panel of experts on the field. My grandfather used to say that once in your life you would need a doctor, a lawyer, and a priest, but 3 times a day you need a farmer. And today, farmers need us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric, for your pitch. Now, let's move on to the Q&A, and we will have the first intervention from Eduardo Lebrija.
Hello, Eric. Great pitch, great energy. Congratulations. I just have one question. Could you describe your go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, I think I didn't really describe my go-to-market. I have here one projection. Yeah, so if we get the investment, and also we are planning to get more investment from other angel investors and VCs, we plan to launch this on November of 2019, this year. And right now,
I'll stop you there. Sorry, but this is your roadmap. This is very helpful. Thank you. But I would like to know, how will you be able to get more farmers and more customers into your own platform, right? So will you be using any marketing campaigns? Will you be knocking on their doors? How will you be doing your whole go-to-market strategy?
Well, right now what we're doing is we are uniting the sons of the farmers. We're making a team that it's gonna go farm to farm, and also sales force that it's gonna go also going with all of the farmers in the regions. And we're also planning marketing campaigns where we are present on events of Pioneer, Monsanto, Syngenta, Asgrow, more of these that they do every year, where a lot of farmers are, and this is a good way of promoting the platform.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Awesome. Now we will have the intervention from Bob Upham.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Bob.
I switched the headphones, sorry. Yeah, great pitch. I think that was really well done. Can you explain a little bit about the distribution logistics? Like, how will you, it's very, complex using, shipping, and how will the farmers receive the supplies? Are you controlling that, or we do it from the end vendor?
Well, look, I'm also a distributor of farm supplies. We created a small company to help farmers as well in a very traditional way. And right now that we're planning this new project, we talk with companies like you can see here, Pioneer, who told us that we're gonna save them a lot of cost because they have a lot of stores all around Mexico. So right now they can remove all that stores and be sending through all of their logistics plan directly to the farmers. As we are saving them a lot of money on infrastructure, they can have the possibility of doing that.
Okay, so you won't have to write those distribution models. You'll use the existing infrastructure from the suppliers. Is that correct? Okay, great. That's all the questions I had.
Okay, perfect.
I have just
another question.
one.
Oh, perfect, Eduardo. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Tell me a little bit about your team. What do you guys do? What are your roles, responsibilities? I don't know if you could describe a little bit that.
Of course, Eduardo, look, here, well, basically, we are a very complementary team. In the design, Lucas from Brazil is the guy that is helping us with the design of the platform. And Joder, who is from Ecuador, he is the one that is developing all the coding so that the platform can work well. Luis Arevalo from Peru, he is a manager in Falabella, and he's helping us with all the financials of the company so that we don't run out of money and have the money to distribute to the different activities that we need to do. And Pia is helping us. She's a lawyer. She's helping us with the part of basically the regulations that we need to have on each country to make things happen. And I am the farmer and the guy who has the experience and the communication with the farmers. Also, I'm in the part of sales. I sell the project. And we plan this complementary team with 5 entrepreneurs from 5 different countries because we plan to expand quickly to 5 different countries very fast.
Okay, thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Okay, perfect. If there's no any other questions, I think we can move on to the next team. Panelists, does anyone wants to ask anything else? Okay, awesome. So we will move on to the next team. Thank you so much, Eric, for the pitch of today, and thank you, all farms. Panelists, you will have 1 minute to evaluate the team, and I will move on to present the next team, who is Hain. Hain, they are from TrepCamp, New York. The challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was imagine the next generation of health industry. Max One is a device-affordable magnetic device developed by Hain that can tell if a brain is cancer-free in just 1 minute, making brain tumor diagnosis faster and easier. Today, Luisa Maldonado will pitch for Hain. I'll give you the cue in just a few more minutes, Luisa.
Okay. Now, can I start or?
Just a few more seconds, Luisa.
Oh, okay,
We're
sorry.
waiting for the submissions of the panelists.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the cue.
Perfect.
We are ready for you whenever you are, Luisa. Kumi, get prepared. You're next.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Luisa, and I'm a co-founder of Hain. This is Pedro, friend of one of our founders. He used to live in Minas Novas, a small rural city in Brazil. He was 17 when he first started getting headaches, and after several visits to the doctor, he was diagnosed with a simple migraine. When he turned 18, just before graduation, he died. Why did this happen? Because the doctors failed to detect the orange-sized tumor inside his brain. And there are more cases like this. 300,000 people are diagnosed with a brain tumor every year. That's more than 1 person every 2 minutes. If a brain tumor is caught in the early stage, the survival rate is greater than 90%. But if it isn't, the survival rate drops to 34%. So a solution would be to diagnose brain tumors early, right? It sounds simple, but it's not that easy because symptoms can take up to 5 years to appear. And then a patient would proceed to get an MRI scan, but by this time, it might be too late. And most facilities in Brazil, like Pedro's, don't even have an MRI machine. And all the hospitals that do, don't use MRIs preventively because it's too expensive. The average cost of a single scan could be more than $500. And even when a patient is approved for an MRI scan, the wait time can be months to over a year. And for a fast-growing tumor, the result could be deadly. So early diagnosis for a brain tumor is a problem we at Hain have solved. We've developed the MAX-1, an electromagnetic device that can scan the brain without radiation and detect a foreign mass in just 1 minute. The MAX-1 helmet is equipped with an antenna and a receptor and uses electromagnetic waves to identify the differences in the mass of the brain. This technology can indicate the existence of a tumor. And the best part is the MAX-1 device also costs just $1,500. That's 1% of the cheapest MRI machine available today. Hain is based in Brazil, and this is our initial market. We will be collaborating with the government by reducing costs of the healthcare system with both diagnosis and treatment in the early detection. Easier than administering a visual or a hearing test, everyone could get a safe preventive brain test. And best of all, we'll save lives because the Max One is affordable enough to be deployed to even the smallest of rural clinics. We've gotten this far thanks to our multidisciplinary team that includes the technology and patent creator, members who work at the government, and designers of the brand and design of the device. Also, thanks to our professor and mentor, Alexander Manisova, who initiated this research. We know the world has a lot of problems, but by helping us make Hain a reality, we'll be able to save lives that could help us solve those problems. So please support Hain. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Luisa, for this pitch, and thank you so much, Hain. Now we will move on to the Q&A, and we will have the first intervention from Flavia Richardson. I believe you're in mute, Flavia. Maybe she's struggling with getting the mute off, but we can hear from you, Per, if you're ready.
Ana Luz, I'm sorry to interrupt. Flavia says, poor connection. I believe this technology has been patented by other companies. Have they done the primary research on similar systems, even if applied in different sectors?
She said that for the bike's electric team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. Maybe Flavia could ask the question. I don't know.
Yeah, Flavia, if you want to put it in the text box, any question? If not, I think we can move on to Per while we wait to see if Flavia can get the microphone off. And
so,
I believe...
So are we open to asking any questions until they get the microphone ready, or are we just waiting?
Yes, go ahead, Ricardo. I was waiting for Per, but I think he's also struggling with the microphone because we cannot hear him too.
Yep. So, the first thing that pops into my head, I'm a bit skeptical about the accuracy of the device. So, the more tests the more tests you can do on that end to provide more credibility would be the best. But in the meantime, that's what I want to ask you. So, what have you done to test the accuracy of this device? Because I remember last time when you guys proved it in person, if I remember correctly. You proved it on a piece of foam, I think, or something like that. So that didn't give me a lot of confidence because the human brain is a lot more complex. So my question is, have you spoken to scientists? And if so, who, when, how, what did they say? So what's the credibility here?
Yeah, by now we are already tested this on phantom head. Phantom head's like something used in labs to simulate the human head, and the inside of it is like to simulate the mass of the brain. So we already tested on phantom heads, and we already had positive results. And now we're moving on to the next phase, that is testing on animals. So we already talked to like a lot of scientists, including our mentor, Alexander Manisova, who is a scientist from the University of São Paulo. And the technology is patent, and like we have all the concept and the algorithm behind this. We have patents for that. And by now, all the tests that we made, even with the phantom head and now with the animals, the results are being good. And if we keep getting consistent results with animals, we'll move to the next phase, that is testing on humans.
But can you get technical regarding the accuracy of the device? So can you provide me some numbers that would give me some comfort regarding how accurate the device is? Can you compare with some metric or something like that? Do you have any technical numbers you can provide?
Yeah, the device can tell with 100% like of accuracy the affirmation that the brain has something. Like by now, all the tests we have 100% of accuracy, but it's not like the device that cannot say that there's something that is in the brain is a tumor. It can say you have a different mass in your brain, and then if a patient gets a positive result, we'll put this patient into traditional therapy to get a traditional MRI. But by now, in all the results we had with the phantom heads in the lab, or even with animals, we're having like 100% of accuracy on detecting a difference in the mass. Like the brain is, the mass of the brain is consistent. And all the times that we did this test so far, we have 100% of accuracy.
Thank you so much. Is there any other question, Ricardo? Or
Well, in case if any other panelists want to have plan, I don't want to dominate the conversation.
yeah, I believe Bob, you wanted to say something.
You could tell. You could by putting the video on. Yeah. Can it be used in detection for other types of tumors? Can the technology be put in a handheld device that could scan, for instance?
Yeah, the technology, by the concept of the technology could be used with another kind of tumors. But the thing is, the other parts of the body have like different consistency of the mass. Like you cannot scan your chest because you have your bones, you have the heart, you have another organs that have differences in the consistency of the mass. So it's used for brain because the brain as a whole has the same constant in the mass.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Awesome. We have a few more minutes left. Doug, Eduardo, would you like to make any question? Per?
This is Doug. I like the focus on providing a low-cost solution. I think that's always a winning strategy if you can do it with enough accuracy. So I appreciate the focus on accuracy of the questioner a moment ago. I guess I'm curious to know what you understand currently about the approach that you're going to take to manufacturing and distribution.
Yeah, like we already have the equipment put together, but the next phase that when we start testing in humans, we have to build the helmet. So we have industrial design in our team, and we already we have the costs for mass production. But at first we have to finish the prototype to finish the test. But we already have the cost for the mass production of this, so we can distribute all over the country. In Brazil at first.
Thank you so much, Luis. And thank you so much, Doug. We're gonna move on to the next team. Thank you so much for this presentation, Hein. Panelists, you have a minute to evaluate the team that just was here. And then I'll be presenting the next team, which is Kumi. Kumi is from TrepCamp at Boston. The challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was reduce the garbage island, and they reduce waste produced by disposed tires, producing anti-seismic rubber bricks and other final goods to deliver an environmental friendly alternative. We will have on this speech Uriel Trejo from Kumi. I'll give you the cue, Uriel, whenever the panelists are ready.
All right, so I'll wait for the panelists to tell me to start. Thank you so much, Anados.
Thank you. Just a few more seconds. We're still waiting for some submissions.
All right, it's perfect.
Now it's time for Uriel Trejo from Kumi to pitch. Whenever you are ready, start up, you're next.
Thank you. It was September 1984 in Everett, Washington. A huge tire dump with around 4 million tires started to burn. The flames lasted 7 months. According to specialists, it polluted the air of the planet for the next 25 years. In other words, it's the air we're still breathing today. Each year, 1 billion tires are disposed worldwide. 1/3 of this problem is concentrated in North America. But the biggest issue is that from that, 88% are not being recycled, harnessing the environment and also our lives. Tires are a very polluting waste and take up a lot of space. On the other hand, the urbanization of the cities around the world is increasing and the need of greener supplies is necessary. Also, the cost of producing bricks are high. It costs around $700 million annually. In CUMI, we want to recycle waste tires to deliver an environmentally friendly alternative. So, what if we use the waste tires to provide housing for the future generations? In that way, we can reduce pollution generated, reduce construction costs, and provide more safety. With the raw materials obtained from the tires, we are going to produce final goods. Our first product will be rubber bricks that will be used to build residential projects. Those bricks provide more resistance to buildings while earthquakes occur, helping to maintain structures and saving lives. In Mexico, 3.5 billion bricks are produced annually. From that, 255 million are ecological bricks. At CUMI, we want to produce around 1.2 million ecological bricks per year, which means that we will get 0.47% of the market share. CUMI is a B2B model. We are selling to companies working in the construction industry in Mexico. Those companies are looking to reduce the cost of its supplies and provide greener housing. We can sell directly or through distributors. For that, we started to make strategic connections that will help us to introduce us into the big market. Of course, we are not the first ones thinking to develop ecological bricks. What really differentiates us from our competitors is that ecological bricks in the market are not scalable and are more expensive. According to our agenda, in the second semester of the next year, we will be able to start the production of our rubber bricks. As you may see, it's pretty soon, and just with your help, this will be feasible. In CUMI, we are passionate to reduce the carbon footprint. That's what brought us together as a team. We have Jairo, our chemical engineer, Uriel, business and international relations, Maria, business and marketing, Alejandro, accounting, and he has experience in the construction industry, Eric, data analyst, and last but not least, Tamara, our material engineer. At CUMI, we believe in business as a positive force of good for a better planet. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Now let's continue with the Q&A. The first intervention will be from Group.
That was a very nice pitch. Thank you. It flowed very easily, and you covered all of the most important topics in a short period, so that was excellent. When I think of anything that relates to recycling, I think of a marketplace that's very much like power, in that it's ruthlessly focused on cost. So could you talk a little bit more about why you'll be the low-cost provider? You're clearly solving another problem. You know, the disposal of tires is a separate issue, but talk about being the low-cost provider of a solution to deal with tires.
Okay, our business model is really amazing because we can make money in 3 different stages of the process. Like you see, when we collect tires, when we produce raw materials and we obtain a final good. Why it's better? Because usually in the brick industry, the 50% of the cost is caused by the fuel, like burning the bricks. So we don't have that, so we save a lot of money. Estimate the brick for the competency is around 20 and 25 cents, and our cost of production is around 5 cents. So we have a lot of margin to grow up.
Yeah, that's a very interesting answer. And the alternatives you were touched on earlier about other kinds of ecological bricks. How do your costs compare to those alternative solutions?
Okay, the biggest thing of the other ecological solution is that they use sand and the process costs a lot of time. They usually spend 28 days to produce the bricks. Now, we have some industrial process, so our time is 4 days. So we are better opportunity to be more scalable and compete with the price.
Okay, those are the questions that I had. I'm happy to hand it over to Ricardo.
Thank you so much, Doug.
Thank you so much, Doug. And let's move on to Ricardo.
Yep. So, can you describe in better detail? So, who's the decision maker really that's going to be making the decision and moving forward as a potential client? And if the more detail you can provide, the better. So yeah.
So I think that we couldn't hear properly the question. Can you repeat it, please?
What was that?
We couldn't hear your question very clear. Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah. So describe me the decision maker that you're targeting, right? So.
All right. Yeah.
So basically, paint me a scenario that describes somebody in a particular position facing a particular pain point, and describe their profiles in great detail. Who's that decision maker that would be your client?
First of all, as you may see in this slide, we have two allies, Urbi, Desarrollos Urbanos, and Casas Geo. These are two major construction companies based in Mexico City that build houses for the people. And they are looking for greener supplies, and also they want to reduce their costs of producing this house. So for example, we already went with them and we talk about our product and the features we have in it. And we told them that we have an opportunity in which they can get a rubber brick to build their houses. So it's going to be kind of cheaper. And they told us, well, but you are telling this, but do you have any proof that you can really get that? As you may see in this slide, and probably one of my partners here can explain you better, we already started doing something because we have a part of the existing infrastructure to start working with the tires.
The profile of our client is really interesting because, like my partners say, they are looking for small prices, but also they are looking for quality. Like we say, our rubber brick help with the vibrations while earthquakes occur, and in Mexico there occur a lot of that. But we are a good option for there because we are cheaper, because we are greener, and because we have quality, better quality for the normal markets.
Thank you so much, Uriel, and the whole team of Kumi. Thank you so much, Ricardo and Doug, for the feedback. Now, we're going to give a couple of more seconds to the panelists to fill out the form. And I am happy to announce you that we're going to make a 10-minute break before moving on to the next half of the teams. I just want to inform that start up, you're next. So get prepared after the 10-minute break. You will be the next team to pitch.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everybody, to the round 2 of the Global Demo Day. The next team is Startup. They are from TrepCamp at San Diego. The challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was imagine the next generation of education. For children who want to build their own company, they are an online platform that provides entrepreneur training. Unlike traditional education, they offer an innovative app to develop powerful entrepreneurs through game simulation and networking that encourage them to build their own business in real life. We have Teresa Ruiz from Startup, and we're ready for you whenever you are, Teresa. Begum, get prepared because you are next.
Everybody.
Yes, we can hear you, Maria.
Okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so I'm ready. I'm going to start. Have you ever wondered what exactly an entrepreneur is? From our point of view, the entrepreneur is a person who seeks to solve problems in his community from a perspective that nobody had before. It means freedom to be, create, and do whatever you want to make change happen. However, the education system stops children from believing they are capable of achieving this, and that's why we built a startup. Let me introduce you to Emma Clark, a 12-year-old girl who lives in Los Angeles. She's part of a prosperous society that has told her that dreaming is important. But at the same time, she's asked to spend most of her day at school, where she receives education with a formula that hasn't changed too much in the last 200 years. Certainly, kids are not always worried about their future. Those who really care about it are their parents, like Lisa Clark. Lisa wants Emma to have the best education because she knows that in the adult world, everything changes very fast and there's a lot of competition. She doubts whether current education is really preparing Emma with the skills she will need, and that's why she turned up to Startup. In Startup, we offer children the opportunity to learn through online education, business simulation, and games, while we connect them with children around the world to integrate multidisciplinary teams that accomplish to get real problem solutions. We have 2 channels to meet our customer needs. The first one is a mobile app where children can create their own profile and play different business simulation games. On the other hand, we have an online platform where parents can track their children's learning progress. The general idea is that children need to complete 3 stages to become entrepreneurs: mastering, networking, and performing, each one with a specific learning objective. Behind all of this, there's the use of algorithms to collect data on the performance and needs of our customers. We analyze that information and use it to improve the experience of our users as we suggest them new alternatives. Our research showed that online education is a $107 billion industry expected to grow 300% by 2025. Based on a survey we conducted in San Diego, 9 out of 10 parents believe they would have benefited from entrepreneurial experiences at an early age. And trends reveal that Gen Z students learn by doing and are willing to create their own company. Finally, we are forecasting to get the $25 million by the 5th year. The next steps are to develop the prototype of the app, test it, and launch it in the next year. Developing great ideas is only possible with a great team, and we are a group of 5 Mexican women with a huge passion for education. So, as you can see, industry, trends, and market coincide. There are thousands of children willing to have freedom to learn differently and explore the entrepreneurial world. So investors, let us know if you want to be part of the next generation of education. We are ready to answer to your questions.
Thank you so much for this intervention, Maria. Now we will have the Q&A. The first intervention will be from Bob Upham.
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, great. I think this is great. Great pitch. Great idea. Great to see 5 women doing this too. That's awesome. Who is your target audience? Is it educators, parents, children? And then the follow-up to that is, what's the acquisition strategy for the target partner?
Okay, so the ones who are using this, of course, are the children in terms of the games. But the first ones that we want for them to know that this is something different for their children are their parents. So that's what our numbers are based on them. And on the other hand, there's also this idea of getting in touch with teachers for them to use these kind of platforms as new tools and in their classes. How are we gonna target them? Well, there's these marketing campaigns about gaming, but there are also ways of reaching schools, talking about with them, with the principals, with the teachers, and offer these new tools. And with parents, I think that the best way to reach parents is this thing of marketing campaign, but also, I mean, we need to put our advertisements next to games that their children are actually playing, because this is not just education, it's combined with games. So kids must see it, but parents too at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And what is the monetization strategy? How will you make money?
Okay. So what we think is to put a price of $24.99 per month to have access to our app and to our platform, and their children can play these games. There will also be games like our premium games, and they will have an extra cost. So that's the way in which we want to get money as with individuals. But in case of the schools, it's very different, like to sell the product for an entire school, for the school to use it. So we have two ways of monetizing it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much, Bob, for your intervention. Now we will have the intervention from Eduardo Lebrija.
Thank you, Ana Luz. Seems like a very interesting business. Again, congratulations for a great pitch. I would like to know a little bit more about what's your roadmap on the following maybe 90 days or 6 months.
Okay, so the first thing we have to focus in the next weeks is to define exactly how the game looks like. We have an idea, we have imagined it, how it's going to be the progress. I mentioned this of mastering, performing, and networking, but we need to be more specific on how the game will look like. And I think that the next steps are to start modeling the game, this of the MVP. So we have already started to, also we are not, for example, programmers, or we don't have careers in computing. We have already started to develop, and we are getting that information, but the idea is to look for programmers that already have that knowledge, for them to know to model what we have on our mind and have what we have already sketched. So that is the first thing, or the next steps to start with the beta version of our game.
Okay, perfect. And a second question, what do you guys think that you should be the team traveling to the final of the Global Demo Day this year?
Okay, we are a very, very, very passionate team for education. I mean, education is something that really touches our hearts. And our compromise with this project is huge. That is on the first side. But also, I think that with the information we have gathered, we have looked that there's interest from the users, that there's a gap because there already exist online education courses about entrepreneurship. And there are already games like Tycoons. But nobody has looked at children like to play, and nobody has looked at nobody is attending what they like to do. So we are doing that. We are using our knowledge, our passion for education, and we are using what users want and what blue ocean is like the
Sorry to
ocean is
interrupt.
showing us a gap. That's why we think we need to move to the next round to make this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have to move on to the next team.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So perfect. Panelists, you have 1 minute to evaluate this team. And meanwhile, I would like to present the next team, which is BGUM. BGUM is from TrepCamp at New York. The challenge they chose during the entrepreneurial simulator was reduce the garbage island. BGUM is a social impact company that creates unique and innovative bioplastic frame glasses made out of recycled chewing gum in order to reduce waste pollution and the environment footprint. We will have of this team Sabrina Gans and Angelica Suarez to pitch. I will give you the cue whenever the panelists are ready for you, and Bloom, get prepared because you're next. Sabrina, we are ready for you whenever you're ready.
Great. Did something like this ever happen to you? Do you think this is funny? Chewing gum is the second most common type of street litter after cigarettes. When found on the ground, it looks like a piece of bread to birds. They get stuck and being unable to eat or drink, they slowly die. Governments spend millions of dollars to remove them from the streets. And as if it wasn't enough, its slow degradation can triple its time when it's found on the ocean. So that's why we came up with a solution. We are Angie and Sabrina presenting in behalf of BGUM, a social impact company that creates bioplastic frame glasses made out of recycled chewing gum. After a detailed study and research, we created our formula with a group of experts. This is our product's 3 main features. They're fashion unisex sunglasses, they're highly resistant, and they're sustainable, since the mix is made out of chewing gum mixed with another bioplastic. But wait, the best is yet to come. When you buy a BGUM, something good is happening. There are 17.5 million kids in the world that suffer from visual deficiency, and we want to help as many of them as we can to see the world how you see it.
To do this, we chose the buy one, give one business model in order to marry our commercial purpose with our social value. When you, our consumer, buy sunglasses, we will give a pair of eyeglasses to a child in need. The great news is that we're not only making the world a better place, but we're even winning from it. As you can see, we have a profit margin of 112%, including cost of logistics and shipping. The global market is estimated to reach 38 billion by 2024. Inside this market, we chose a growing potential, millennials, who 73% are willing to pay more for sustainable products. The process is simple. We educate about gum issues, we collect the gum, we manufacture the glasses and sell them online. And every time a pair is sold, we give one to our consumer and another one to our allied NGOs so they can distribute it to a child in need. This is the team. We are 5 visionary and diverse entrepreneurs with different backgrounds, but with one common passion and goal. We're a group of people who want to help the community have a better view of the world. Analyzing the market, we can see that there are a lot of brands within the eyewear industry, but with both social and environmental impact, we would be the first. And our price offer is better compared to theirs. So we know that everyone is part of the problem, but everyone can also be part of the solution. It's simple, it's fun, and it's time. We believe that if we change the way we see the world, then the world can change. Join us. One gum at a time, help children know their ABC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabrina and Angelica, for your pitch. Now it's time to move on to the interventions from the panelists, and we will have first Eduardo Lebrija.
Okay.
Alanos, I closed last time. Is it okay we start with Doug, I believe, and then I'll follow up? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Doug, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So first of all, I love the social purpose and the model of the sort of buy one, give one, I think is a wonderful thing to do. On the practical side, though, I do have a couple of initial questions. The first is the process by which you're going to collect the raw materials for these frames, because when I think of people chewing gum, they're moving around in the world, and when they decide to stop chewing that gum, they're just looking for a receptacle to get rid of it. If they're a little less environmentally conscious, yes, maybe they just discard it loosely. But I didn't hear anything about how you're going to collect the raw material in a way that will generate a large volume at a low cost. So could you address that, please?
Yes, Doc. Thank you for the question. It is super important, super key, and it's also the first question that we made to ourselves. So we thought about we thought about finding a place where it's very common for people to be chewing gum and where it's easily found. So that's why we created, as you can see in these 3 columns, that will be our marketing traction strategy. First, we will have a simple presence before, during, and after the purchase. So we're gonna, the place that we choose for recollection are universities. In the pre-launch session, we wanna place posters around the campus as a teaser for the students to know, first of all, that there's a problem. The chewing gum that contaminates the environment. Then when we launch the real product, we're gonna place the collection bins, the actual collection bins around the campus, where the students are gonna be able to drop their in special bins there to put their gum. And that's how we recollect our raw materials. Then we collect them from the universities. And also, it's a double purpose, because they put the gum, because they consume it more, but also they are the clients of the sunglasses, the millennials. So we're targeting all of it in the same place. We already talked to a university in Chihuahua, Mexico, and they're loving our project because it's a problem that happens to the university. And after the purchase, online purchase is made, then we're gonna post the pictures of the kids that are being able to change their life due to the purchase of the person, and a video with the kid seeing the world for the first time with the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Doug, I want to add something very important. If we escalate, I want to show you in Mexico already, there are campaigns of government and companies such as Trident from Mondelez that are already doing this campaign, because it's really huge, the problem of the environment. So when we escalate, we can do alliances with the government and with this company that already have been doing this type of campaigns. We're going to start at universities, but doing like this type of campaigns that already exist.
Mm-hmm. So just to comment, each time someone is chewing gum, of course, that's a very small deposit that they're going to make. So you're going to need a very large volume, and the canisters or whatever you're going to use to collect it are going to have to be in many, many places, because people are not going to walk a long distance holding their gum looking for a place to put it. So I think, it's just something to get very, very granular on because it's essential to generating the volume that you'll need. The only other question I have is, for the glasses to be useful, in addition to the frames, you need lenses. so that you are actually correcting vision. So in terms of the process of diagnosing the prescription that's needed and the lenses themselves, how do you plan to just sell empty frames and then the rest will be done in some other ordinary way? Or do you imagine that you're delivering a solution like Warby Parker that includes lenses as well as frame?
No, yes. When we donate all the glasses with the lenses, because we're going to do an alliance with already NGOs that already work with that they give the kids the eyeglasses. So we're going to combine our work. So we give them the frames and they add the lenses. We already have a company.
Sorry to interrupt, Sabrina and Angelica. Time is up and we have to move on to the next team's presentation. Thank you so much for your pitch, and thank you, Doug, for jumping in the Q&A.
Thank you. Thank you.
Finally, you have 1 minute to evaluate this team. And meanwhile, I would like to present the next team, which is Bloom. They are from TrepCamp at New York, and the challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was imagine the next generation of fashion industry. Bloom has developed a technology that prevents major medical complications to patients with chronic diseases by reducing the time of response in case of emergency in a fashionable and comfortable way. In this pitch, we will have Mónica Blanco, Ana Chavez, and Fernando Amador to pitch. I would give you the cue whenever the panelist is ready to have you. And plug, get prepared, you're next.
I'm ready.
Hello, my name is Fernando and I am co-founder of Bloom. 2 years ago, I used to be a normal person, just like you.
Sorry, Fernando.
Yes.
I haven't given you the cue yet.
Oh, sorry.
2 more seconds, and I promise that you can start all over. Okay, Fernando, we're ready for you whenever you're ready.
Hello, I am Fernando and I am co-founder of Bloom. 2 years ago, I used to have a normal life, just like any of you. But one night, everything changed. The night I had my first epileptic seizure. I remember waking up at 2 a.m. There's a lot of blood. I'm confused and no one near to help me. I struggle to reach my phone and ask for help. Since then, I leave my house every day with the fear of not coming back alive in case I have another seizure and there is no one to help me. Like me, there are thousands of people who live with this fear every day. Our condition makes us 3 times more prone to have a premature death than most people. That's why we create Bloom.
Just like Fernando, millions of people out there are suffering from different chronic diseases whose medical conditions make them vulnerable to suffer major medical complications. We are Bloom, a tech and fashion company based in Mexico City, and we are developing a technology to prevent major medical complications by reducing the time of response when patients loses conscious or is unable to reach for help. The patch is attached to the inside of the clothes and is connected through an app that monitors the user 24/7. In case of an accident, the device will send a notification to the emergency contact no matter where they are.
Currently, there are several telehealth companies developing gadgets and accessories for workout sessions and daily commute, but there's no technology like ours that can be worn in a fashionable way. Unlike any other device in the market, the U-Patch is imperceptible for the user, which makes them feel safe, independent, but also comfortable, no matter what they're wearing or in which situation or activity they're at.
We spoke with different specialists like cardiologists, pneumologists, and geriatrics, and they all agreed that with our idea, we can help save many lives, and they highly recommend it.
Our production cost is of $20 with the selling price of only $35, which allows us to have a competitive net margin of the 20%.
Our customers will find our product through our online store, our clinical health insurance network, and private distributors like hospitals and doctors.
We'll reach our customers through different marketing strategies, like using influencers and ambassadors, below-the-line marketing, co-branding, and also campaigns with the fashion industry.
We are formed by a multidisciplinary team of entrepreneurs.
And we are convinced that of how many lives the UPatch will save. So now we encourage you to think about the future. Think about the next generation of everything. What are you betting on?
Thank you so much for the pitch, Blum. Now it's time to move on to the Q&A, and we will have the first intervention from Ricardo Taveras.
Cool. So look, I'm about to ask a question that was already asked prior. So, why are you guys the best folks to run this company? And look, I understand everybody in this competition is passionate, right, about what they're doing. And so I'm not looking for that answer. What I'm looking for is for you to tell me what challenges you foresee happening to you, and what kind of people are you putting around yourself to overcome those challenges, whether it's people that come work for you or people that are just your advisors.
Well, actually, hi, my name is Diego, co-founder of Room. Can you see my video?
I can see your camera, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we have challenges. But in our team, we have, for example, a medicine student who is actually helping us with all the investigation and the design of the prototype. And we have also a network of, how do you say that? A network of people that is helping us with the development of the project. We have the assistance of engineers in medical technology, biomedicine, and that will help us to reach many of the problems we're facing with these technologies.
Yeah, but who are the engineers? Who are the people doing this really? What's their credibility? What exactly are they helping you with? Why are they incentivized to help you? Like, what's the context there, right? And I'm asking this for specific reasons, right? Like, running a company most of the time is the right combination between cleverness and wisdom. But you can't do everything yourself. You have to understand what you suck at and what you're good at. And you have to have put people around you that complement everything you suck at. So that's the direct to my question. So who are those people? What's their background? What exactly are they helping you with? Why do you need them?
Okay, for example, in first place, my father personally is an engineer in biomedicine, and he has been working for like more than 15 years in a telehealth company, and he knows very much this industry. He knows very much how this is working, and he's helping us not only with the market research and the viability of the prototype, but also really focus on what we lack in the team. We understand that most of us have like an economic and finances knowledge, but for example, my father is really like taking us to know better what we are lacking and to address like the problems we're facing. And also one of the members of the team is a med student. So he has also like the knowledge to help us really take this technology to the next level.
All right, thanks.
Awesome, thank you. And we will have also the intervention of Per. I believe he opened his microphone a bit ago.
Do you hear my microphone?
What country are you looking to deploy in?
Yes, Per, we can hear you.
what country are you looking to deploy in?
Okay, first of all, in Mexico, because all the team members.
Let me interrupt. Is anyone in the United States doing this already?
Well, in the United States, there are many companies. Let me show you. For example, right now in the United States, Philips Healthcare is like the most close competitor. But the problem is that they have, they don't address the problem like us. We like to make our technology really comfortable and easy to use. Yeah.
So nobody's doing it in Mexico. Is the hardware already figured out?
The hardware, no. We are in the stage of research and development. And actually we're competing in the global demo day to get the resources to start doing the physical prototype. But we have research, yeah.
So you have hardware to figure out. You also have some firmware that's analyzing the data from the hardware?
Yeah, there's everything will be done through a mobile app. The analysis.
Yes, but you have to have a physical piece of hardware that's receiving input from the movement of the person.
Yeah.
Then you have to have some firmware to analyze it, to raise an alarm to the phone, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. In Mexico, in the United States, this would go through insurance. In Mexico, is this gonna go through insurance, or would this be a person direct cash paying?
No, one of our ways to reach the customers is through insurance networks. In Mexico, most of insurance companies have networks of of doctors and specialists, and we are going to market our product through these doctors and insurance networks.
Diego, sorry to interrupt. Diego. It's time to move on to the next team. And panelists, you have 1 minute to fill the evaluation of this team. And meanwhile, I would like to introduce the next team, which is Plug. They are from TrepCamp London, and the challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was imagine the next generation of retail. Plug is an artificial intelligence platform that allows restaurant managers to save time and money, finding and doing business with new qualified suppliers in a customized way. Now it's time for Plug, and Mario Berriozabal will be pitching. I will give you the cue whenever the panelists are ready. And Echo Filter, get ready because you're next.
Great.
Plug and Mario, we are ready for you whenever you are.
Oh, okay. So Kenny, are you ready?
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, great. So let's go. Hi, my name is Mario, and I love two things in my life: going out with my girlfriend and eating apple pie. A couple of weeks ago, we went out to get one, and they said it was out of stock. They told us that the Apple supplier wasn't working with them anymore, and they couldn't get a new one. We tried other restaurants, and it was the same story. So that got me thinking, why is it so hard for restaurants to find new suppliers? Currently, restaurant owners don't have timely information regarding delivery time, availability, quality, and price of their suppliers and resources. After doing more research, we understood that the problem is the asymmetric distribution of information between restaurants and suppliers, and this affects more than 22,000 small restaurants just in Mexico City. To help them, we created Plug, an artificial intelligence platform that allows restaurants managers to save time and money, finding and doing business with new qualified suppliers in a customized way. Now, they will search by categories and products, getting the best quality, price, availability, and delivery times. We give them more time to focus on creating what we love the most, their food. Plug also includes service feedback systems, loyalty programs, and machine learning to improve and predict searching activity. Increasing revenues, reducing costs, or just finding better suppliers, Plug is perfect for any kind of business. Right now, restaurant managers are solving this problem in Mexico with a couple of websites like comercializate.mx, but they are only a list of suppliers, and that's it. We shared the idea with restaurant owners like Fernando, and he said that Plug would help him save time and money so he could focus on cooking and making his business grow. Plug not only help restaurant owners, but also small to medium players to grow by gaining more recognition in the market. So it's a win-win for everyone. Our revenue model includes monthly membership for restaurants, 4% commission per transaction for suppliers, and paid advertising. Our team has high expertise in supply chain, finance, behavioral psychology, and law. We have an AI B2B expert as an advisor, and soon more will get on board. To make Plug a reality, we need $150,000 that will be used to develop the technology, find the market fit, and run marketing experiments for customer acquisition to learn what works best for them. This fund is expected to last a year before we run a second fundraiser. Until then, we will have proven that the model works, and we'll have 2,000 restaurants and more than 1,000 suppliers on board, just in Mexico City. Become leaders of B2B food supply chain industry, and let's enable restaurants the resources they need when they need to create the food we love. Plug, search by category, shop your product, get it delivered.
Thank you so much for your pitch, Plug. Let's move on to the Q&A, and the first intervention will be from Eduardo Lebrija.
Great.
Thank you, Mario. Great pitch. So you mentioned 150K on your seed round. Who would be your smartest money? Who would be the best VC fund or angel investor for you guys?
Currently, since we are just developed the project, we are aiming just for the 10,000 US dollars to get the software created with a company we already work with. But being honest, we haven't made a deep research regarding which fund will be the best for us at the moment.
Okay. Now my second question, why Mexico? You have bigger markets, you have markets that are closer to these kinds of technologies that have the same pain. So why start with Mexico?
Yeah, well, Mexico right now has 70% of its market with small and medium distributors. So that's why we are focusing on Mexico precisely.
Have you, sorry to interrupt, have you seen other markets?
Yeah, for sure. We have analyzed Brazil market and South Africa markets too. But
is it smaller? The Brazilian market is smaller than the Mexican market?
Yeah, regarding the population of the restaurants and supplier industries, is smaller, but Mexico City is growing regarding the B2B food industry faster than Brazil or South Africa. So that's why we are focusing in Mexico City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mario.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Eduardo. Now we will have the intervention from Bob.
Hi. Hey, very enthusiastic pitch. I loved it. But I'm a little, I'm not clear on the sort of the customer, the two-sided B2B journey. So how does the restaurants find the service and how do the suppliers plug into the service?
Okay, so from the perspective of the restaurant, they make a profile in our app, logging their bank account or credit card, and make a selection of the supplies they use the most, top 10 or top 5, depending on what they do. And with that, first, they will search, like in any app, the supplies, but with that, the machine learning with regressions will will develop the personalized profile to make the predictions and suggestions for them to do it faster. And from the supplier side, they will make their profile. They will give us the pictures of the supplies and the prices, and we will have a team in charge of charging all of that information to the platform. So they only will be able to put their products there, but they will have more exposure in the market by using this app. So that's how it works.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great. We have one minute more left for Q&A. Is there any other panelists that would like to ask any other question?
Yeah, this is Doug.
Hi, Doug.
These kinds of two-sided marketplaces is challenging.
Yeah.
When it works and you have scale on both sides of it, a lot of value can be created and the delivery of the service is very cost effective. But it is very challenging to build a large audience on both sides. Could you talk a little bit more about why you believe you'll be able to do that and how you will go about, how you analyze the cost of acquiring both sides of this network?
Yeah, for sure. So we believe that this industry has high money in it because two major companies, distribution companies in the US, like US Foods, and it have $24 million worth before you, and the strategy we will use to get both sides of suppliers and restaurants, it's a B2B food industry campaign, so we can get them. And actually, we have been working with a couple of restaurants in Mexico City and suppliers, and the strategy we've used is word of mouth. So we literally go with them, tell them about the project, we sign them up, and we start processing their information. So why we can manage to do this is because here, precisely in Mexico City, Brazil, South Africa, the problem in the market is that they lose a lot of time. So they are highly interested in getting something that solves this problem effectively. Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt, Mario. It's time to move on to the next presentation and the next team.
Yeah, for sure. Much. Thank you so much to everyone.
Panelists, you have 1 minute to evaluate the team. And meanwhile, I would like to present the next team, which is EcoFilter. EcoFilter is from TrepCamp at Mexico City. The challenge they chose during the Entrepreneurial Simulator was reduce the garbage island. EcoFilter has a biotechnological process that separates, concentrates, and confines the toxic substances contained in cigarette butts, allowing to obtain cellulose pulp free of toxic substances, which allows the waste to be usable up to 100%, generating this education and environmental awareness in the world. For this speech, we will have Paola Alejandra and Joana Benitez from EcoFilter. I will give you the cue whenever the panelists are ready. And Geek, get prepared because you're next.
I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay. We can share our screen.
Yeah, just a second, EcoFilter.
Yeah, please. Perfect. Okay. In Mexico, okay.
Second, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. Just a second.
Yeah.
A few seconds, and we will be ready for you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Paola, Joanna, we are ready for you.
Perfect. In Mexico, every year, nearly 30 millions of cigarettes are produced, and they are the first source of garbage around the world. One cigarette filter contains 7,000 toxins. A single cigarette filter pollutes up to 50 liters of water and 10 salt water liters. In addition, it's considered the main pollution in the oceans. We solve the environmental problem caused by cigarette filters. Good morning.
I'm Joanna Benitez.
I'm Paola Garro, and I'm co-founder of EcoFilter. We developed a patented biotechnological process which degrades 25% and detoxifies 100% and obtain cellulose pulp. We generate huge campaigns with the society and collect cigarette filters from the streets, rivers, and seas. We have more than 60 collection centers and containers in pubs, schools, and offices. The value proposal. It eliminates 100% toxins to obtain cellulose pulp, clean cellulose pulp, 100% recycling, and it is low cost for the cellulose pulp. It's because here just exists only 8 factories to produce cellulose pulp for supplying 54 papers industry in Mexico. For this reason, Mexico depends on cellulose pulp import. We have 2 types of route. One, cigarette filters collected and tobacco waste. The process is by obtaining 2 qualities of cellulose pulp. With the kraft pulp we manufacture eco products such as post, notebooks, jewelry for sales and donations. The eco products are sold in eco-friendly stores. We have an alliance with the main tobacco companies in Mexico. They donate approximately 300 tons of waste each year, as well as a government and private institution. And the virgin pulp is sold to paper making, and we also manufacture thermal and acoustic insulators. Our clients are focused in small paper producers in the central zone of the country. What's the price? We will start to build the first cigarette filters trading industry in the world, in which we will grow our current process lines. The income process are the sales of virgin cellulose, cellulose for secondary fibers, thermal acoustic insulator, eco products, and we generate a triple impact in social, environmental, and economic. We are a multidisciplinary team, and we know nature's know-how and reduce waste. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your pitch, EcoFilter. Now we will have the session of Q&A, and we will have the first intervention from Per.
So you have a patent on the process to break down the cigarette filter, correct?
Yeah.
Now, that's a produced cigarette filter, or do you also break down the waste product at the cigarette factory when they make the filter? Do you also break down the extra material?
No, we have the patent is about the biotechnological process in order to recycling cigarette butts.
Okay. So when at the factory, when they make a cigarette butt, they have leftover waste material.
Yeah.
And you also recycle that?
Yes. The other business that we have is to working with the tobacco companies' residues in order to do the in order to work with in the paper industry and insulation industry. But the treatment in that waste, because the waste is clean, really, we are really triturating and pressing in order to do the other pulp.
Okay. Are you right now, you said, collecting used cigarette butts?
Yeah. Yeah. We are doing campaigns around Mexico. We have 64 collection center, and also each month we recollect 600 pounds, no, 600 pounds each month.
Who's funding you to do that?
They are volunteers in each collection center. For example, if you see the map, there are the points of the collection centers
in Mexico.
So
you have volunteers in Mexico collecting the used cigarette butts.
Yeah.
You say it's 600 pounds a month?
Yeah.
Okay. And then how are you getting those to one central location?
Now we are the treatment. Now we are doing for the 5% of all the material collecting, but with this material we are doing the tests about, for example, fire resistance, about the fungi, and also if this material is dielectric. But let
me ask you a question. Have you figured out that your treatment works at scale? Have you figured out that it works when you do it on a large scale?
For the
large volume?
Yes.
Okay, a big scale create more collection campaigns in the world and create the first company treatment for this waste.
I'm not.
Right now.
Let me interrupt. I'm going to re-ask my question. Have you tried it where you're treating 5,000 pounds? Have you done a large amount at one time and proven that the treatment works with a large amount of cigarette butt?
Yeah. Okay. It's about the person that we need in order to do the treatment. It is the question.
The question is, when you take a small amount of cigarette butts and you test it in the laboratory, it works. You have a patent.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you take a large amount of cigarette butts and you treat it, does it still work?
Yeah, it works here in Mexico City.
Okay. And then what are you doing with the product you produce?
Okay. We are doing the testing, as I say that we are tests about the fire resistance, the electric resistance, and also we are doing, for example, pots and also other eco products in order to develop the campaign and sell these small products right now. Okay. But also we are interested in the paper industry and insulation industry.
Have you looked at how much capital you need, how much money you need to be able to set up a manufacturing facility?
Approximately 1 million.
Ecofilter. Sorry to interrupt, and sorry to interrupt, Ecofilter and Pierre. Thank you so much for the intervention. The time's up, and we need to move on to the next team.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Before we go on, what was it? The answer to the last question. What was it? How much did you need again?
I don't know.
Repeat the last question. Oh, you can answer the last question.
Okay. 1 million.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. So, panelists, you have a minute to evaluate this team. And I'm just gonna present the final team, which is Geek. They are from TrepCamp at Silicon Valley. The challenge they chose during the entrepreneurial simulator was disrupt an industry with big data. Geek is a platform that connects quality professionals of home solutions with clients. It's a mobile application that connects professionals with customers. And for this pitch, we will have Rita Sarmiento. Rita, I will give you the cue whenever the panelists are ready for you.
Excuse me, I cannot share our screen.
Yes, I know. We're gonna give you in a few seconds the session so that you can share.
Thank you.
You should be able to share now.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Rita, and give me just a few seconds before you start.
Okay.
Rita, we're ready for you whenever you are.
Okay, I'm ready. 9 out of 10 families in Latin America have admitted having extreme difficulties for hiring home services. We are looking at this as a multidirectional problem. There is a need in the consumer side, but also in the service provider. Imagine for a moment you are a service provider. You are not able to find clients, and big companies outsource you, or you lose at least 40% of what you could earn if you worked on your own. On the other side, we have the consumer concern about price, quality, and the safety of them and their families. To help both sides of the coin, we created Geek, the next generation of service providers, a technology platform that allows to connect the need of consumers to the expertise of the service provider. Geek checks for the background of the professionals, but it's the consumer who allows them to stay, depending on their quality and service standards. Let's say you're having a special dinner with your coworkers, but your house is a real mess. You don't know where to get a housekeeper, and you need to get one fast. Well, Geek cover your needs in some simple steps. First, you need to describe your problem and schedule it. Then, automatically, we assign you the professional, and through GPS, you are able to follow the housekeeper's way to your home. The housekeeper will check the area to clean, show you the bill, and then you decide if you want to continue. Finally, you just have to rate her or him, and in some simple steps, you have solved your home task. Our business model is a classic B2B, where we charge a 8% commission per transaction. Geek is going to start in Palermo, Buenos Aires, and our first service to provide is housekeeping. But in the future, we seek to introduce all the industry of services providers as home task, health, office professions, and many others. Our overall goal is to change the economy of Latin America, and we do this by changing the economic life of service providers with technology that connect the needs of the consumer to the service providers. We are a great multidisciplinary team, and we have excellent mentors and advisors. We believe on Geek because we are sure that is the best solution to improve the lives of professionals and the customers.
Thank you so much, Geek, and thank you so much, Rita, for the pitch. We will continue with the Q&A, and we will have an intervention from Ricardo Taveras.
Great.
Yep. So, do you have a timeline of events that you're expecting to go through as a process of making as a process of making progress over the next 6 months or 12 months?
Well, yeah, for the next 2 months, we need to have the app done. Also, we are already contacting way of payments in the platform. For example, we already talked to Movets, that it's a payment platform in Argentina. And what else? We also have a databases of the people that will be working in our platform. For the 3rd month, we are wanting to start the idea in Palermo, Argentina, and for 5 months after that, we are wanting to start gaining our first money.
And have you validated that that progress map with somebody else, with probably like a mentor or an advisor or something?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we have
sorry for actually, we have talked like with some of our mentors. I could mention Alexis Garberis and our entrepreneur in residence, Ray Milham. They helped us through making this map.
And also, we already talked to a company that tried doing something similar, and they told us about their experience and the things that we need to follow.
Okay, perfect. Now we will have the intervention from Doug.
So a very nice pitch. And I think, two-sided marketplaces of the type you're describing are very good tools to create value, to deliver value to both sides of the marketplace. So the concept is good. The challenges, though, are in the costs of customer acquisition or let's say customers and suppliers, and the ability to cost effectively market your particular marketplace, because scalable is the big issue. If you succeed in getting ahead of your competitors, you're in great shape. So what is your current thinking about how to manage costs of customer and supplier acquisition and how to market your particular marketplace so that it stays ahead of competitors?
Yeah, one of our ideas is to talk to material companies in Argentina, depending in each country when we start growing up, and make agreements with them so we can get lower prices in these materials, so we can like have a probably higher cost of the commission that we are charging to the professional and the customer. And also, the customer is open to pay a little bit more if they know that they are gonna have guarantee in the product. So those are some of the ideas that we have. And also, as I said, we talked to Movets, that it's a payment platform. So they will give us the option to have a credit payment for the customers.
I think the thing that you most need to focus on is reducing friction in the growth of both sides, customers and suppliers. So I would encourage you not to think about how to increase your margin per transaction, because if you don't grow quickly, you won't have a defensible business. Technology is not a barrier to entry here. These are not hard things to build, and many large numbers of these kind of two-sided marketplaces are everywhere. It's all about marketing, managing cost of acquisition on both sides, and focusing on scale. So do you have any final thoughts on how you will achieve scale faster than competitors?
Yeah, thank you for the observation. I will say that it's important that in some of our countries there are schools like for people who are learning these skills like carpenters, plumbers, and how do they have to give services. So for us, it's important to focus first there because they offer safeness and they assures that it's important to give to the people this safety that they need to feel before hiring the service.
Sorry to interrupt, Andrea. It's time to finish our Global Demo Day round 2, and time's up. But thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Now we'll give just 1 minute to evaluate the team to the panel before we do our final closure of the round 2.
While we're evaluating, I just like to congratulate TrepCamp. I've seen the projects from last year, and these projects are getting better year by year, and the entrepreneurs and the teams are getting each year more sophisticated. So just a quick congratulations to the team and to the things that you're doing, guys, and best of luck in LA.
Thank you so much, Lalo. Well, thank you everyone for being part of the round 2 of the Global Demo Day 2019. Treps, you've been through so much since the Entrepreneurial Simulator, and all of your effort is paying off. Regardless of the final results of this round, keep in mind that you are one of the top performers of TrepCamp 2019. The journey isn't over, and we love to have you as part of the community of TrepCamp. Keep focused and keep working towards your goal. Panelists, thank you so much for being here today. We really value and appreciate your feedback and time with these teams and with us. Thank you for inspiring the young entrepreneurs and for being part of the community of game changers. We will announce the winners tomorrow through mail and through our social media, Instagram and Facebook at 12 p.m. Sorry, the winners on Monday through mail and through our social media, Instagram and Facebook at 12 p.m. Hope you have a good day, everyone, and thank you. And I believe that it's not able to see the screen sharing, but it says that we will announce the teams. Yes, it says that we will announce the teams on Monday at 12 p.m. Central Time. And thank you so much for being everyone here. And thank you, panelists, and have a good day, everyone.